Hello everybody, it's Mrs. Pound and we are studying Chapter 3.1, Introduction to Plants from Purposeful Designs Life Science. Today we're going to take a look at the plants in Section 314, which are ferns, horsetails, and club mosses. Now, we talked about the non-vascular plants last time, which were our mosses, mainly, and our liverworts and our hornworts. And today we're going to move on to vascular plants. So our objectives today will be to examine and identify the structures of ferns and distinguish between ferns, horsetails, and club mosses. So we're going to really focus on ferns, but we're actually going to take a look at all three of these, especially in class, because all three are found in our area. So a fern has leaves, rhizomes, stems, and reproduces using spores. So in the background we see a fern frond. Ferns flourish in a moist climate because they need moisture to reproduce. The gametophyte, as with the moss, there is a gametophyte that produces both sperm and eggs, and the sperm do need water in order to fertilize the egg, and so that's why they have to be in a moist environment. Now, you probably have never seen a fern gametophyte or noticed it because they're very small and low to the ground and kind of heart-shaped. So you would have to be looking for those in the very early spring in order to find them, and they're not very noticeable. What you are more familiar with are the fronds, which are the sporophytes and produce the spores. So a frond is a large divided leaf usually found on a fern, and in here, right there, this is the area that's going to produce those spores. So what you notice on the frond, that is the sporophyte. The roots of seedless plants are called rhizomes, and you can't see the rhizomes because they're underground here. But this is what a rhizome looks like. It's a horizontal underground stem. So these run just under the ground. They tend to go out horizontally, and you can see the fronds branching off of that rhizome. It is not a true root. Now, club mosses, horsetails, and ferns have spore capsules that store spores. So that is what they all have in common. And in the background here, this is a horsetail plant. This is more what the horsetail, you notice, looks like. This over here, and this is all part of the sporophyte. This is what produces the spores here, this cone-like thing at the top. And this is all part of the sporophyte of a club moss. The gametophyte is very small, and you will probably never really see or notice one. Tropical club mosses are mainly epiphytes. So this is a club moss, and we'll be looking at club moss from around here. But this part here would be what produces the spores. So this is the sporophyte of the club moss. And what an epiphyte is it's a plant that grows on another plant, which it uses for support but not for nutrients. And so what you can't see here is that this is hanging down from a tree, and this club moss is growing from a tree, and so it is an epiphyte. And these are very common in the tropical rainforest and tropical areas because in the tropical rainforest, plants want to be up in that canopy where they can get light. If they're underneath the trees, they can't get any light and they can't survive. So there are many plants in the tropical rainforest that are epiphytes and live up in the canopy on other plants. So our objectives today were to examine and identify the structures of ferns and distinguish between ferns, horsetails, and club mosses. And again, we will be looking at all three of these in class at some point so that you'll be able to tell the differences between them. So don't forget your 5 questions in your notes and keep watching this video to answer the questions at the end.